And we are back with this week's edition of Two Coaches, One Grizz. After a little 1 week hiatus to allow everybody to focus on the NFL draft this week. But our job comes in now to break down what we saw, our analysis, and what we thought about the 2022 draft, right? Not much, star power as we're used to seeing, but a very, very, very deep draft. Offensive line, defensive line, DBs, many of the positions where I think when we look at it, when it's all said and done, about 5 to 7 years from now, we're going to see a lot of all-pro players out of this draft. Coach, Grizz, what do you guys think?
Well, I mean, just to piggyback on what you were saying, I really believe it was a very deep draft at multiple positions. I think there were quality defensive linemen. The O-linemen were about. There were 3 or 4 solid guys, Division I, first-round guys that could work out in the pro game. And there's some other specimens that could pan out to be really good offensive linemen. The receivers was extremely deep.
Very deep. Extremely
And we were just talking about that and about how some guys have been hurt and their stock went down because of their injuries late in the season. So, again, I just thought it was a very interesting draft for all the pieces available to these teams to be able to get better and to see where they go from here.
Grizz, thoughts?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with both of you. The receivers, like I said, you could get receivers anywhere you wanted in this draft. 6 of the top 18. I mean, from 8 to 18, there were 6 picked. I was saying off fair, I thought maybe the Lions going up a little aggressive to get Williams, but guy from Alabama, what I'm going to say, proven commodity. Those guys are a dime a dozen. But, I mean, at the end of the day, bigger news was the receivers that were traded. A.J. Brown and our other Brown, Hollywood Brown. I think those were the big deals if in a lack of star-studded, draft players here.
Yeah, so I agree with you there. The Hollywood Brown thing, it has come out since then that he's been asking for a trade since mid-season, which explains his
AJ or Hollywood?
Hollywood Brown. He's been asking for a trade since mid-season. So, again, what the pundits were saying that explains why he was going out of bounds early, dropping balls, very lackluster performance.
I find this strange he would want to leave such an elite quarterback like Lamar Jackson.
The elitist of the elite.
Strange.
The most elite.
But yeah, I mean, I think him wanting to team up with his old quarterback is a perfect timing for another story that happened today with Hopkins getting suspended. I mean, it's honestly, I didn't see that coming. What did he get suspended for? PEDs.
Which again,
that guy doesn't look like he's doing anything. But hey, who knows what these guys are doing these days?
Yeah, that was surprising to say the least because that is the last dude on the list that I would think would get suspended.
I also think that maybe Arizona had an inkling or a feeling that could happen.
Hence why
that's why they pulled the trigger on that trade to be able to accommodate that and bring that receiver in.
Yeah, they had to have known something.
Now, I really like the A.J. Brown trade with the Eagles, pairing him with Devontae Smith. I think that's a very nice 5 to 7 year tandem that we're going to see some noise out of. Granted, Hurts has to, I think, take the next step in his development.
Similar to Tua, getting the help that's needed to see if he can be the franchise quarterback. You give Hurts this guy, you give him the keys, let's go. Because their running game is fantastic. Now
Correct.
you get A.J. Brown, which that's the only problem with this guy is the injury prone tag. But if the guy's healthy, it's gonna be scary if he can be the quarterback, but it's gonna be scary.
Has he really been that injured over the past several seasons? I know
yes.
this year.
Every
season.
Speaking from a fantasy owner perspective, yes, every year there is a little nick in the knack, but when the guy's in, he's in. So I think it's great.
It's funny how it worked out, and we were talking about it before we got on.
Bad news for the Cowboys, by the way.
Very bad news.
That was the position, and that was the place where I had figured Burks to get drafted by Philadelphia, who's a big, tall receiver, matches up well with their slot guys. Because remember, they picked up receivers last year as well. Philly is loaded at the receiver position. They're just scat backs. And now A.J. Brown's a taller,
big, tall,
exactly
deep threat.
That's what I like.
50 ball guy.
That's why I like Burks for them. I thought Burks would have been a perfect fit there in that situation. And it gives you that big presence.
Yeah. Whoa. Are we good here? Well, technical difficulties. Please hold.
Never a dull moment.
Yeah, never a dull moment here at Two Coaches, One Grizz. No, so again, like what the Grizz said, I like the moves that they made. It's all on the quarterback's shoulders. These young quarterbacks, they got the pieces that they need. Now it's on them. It's put up or shut up time, right? Like you said, Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa. Very, very odd that we're talking about two quarterbacks from Alabama that shared that time in the backfield now that are, very much in a, take a crap and get off the pot type situation, for lack of a better term.
Because
proven winners, by the way, too.
Yeah. Proven college football winners that haven't done good in the pros yet. So I think it's going to work really well for both of them.
Agreed. Now, let's look at what everybody regards as the winner of the 2022 draft. And Grizz had mentioned this right before we got on air. The New York Jets had a stellar first round, had a great overall draft. By all intents and purposes, everybody says the same thing. But Grizz had a mini gripe here saying that they were going to find a way to mess it up.
Of course, the New York Jets.
Coachy, what do you think? What do you think there?
I mean, first and foremost, I think that they fixed a lot of the issues that they've had in the past. I want to say that their GM is a better person, a better drafting GM than they've had in the past. I think head coaching wise, they're also in a much better position than they have been in a number of years. So talent wise, I mean, again, you can say whatever you want about the drafting of Zach Wilson and that offense and things of that nature. But as we mentioned before, their offensive coordinator ended up passing away 4 weeks before fall camp. So that right there puts you in a completely bad position, in a situation where you're now grasping at straws. So who's the next guy that's going to run this offense? How are we going to tailor it? Zach Wilson came from an offense that had a lot of motion, brought him out of the pocket, moved him around a lot. So to find the right guy to call that kind of offense is not easy. So I think that in and of itself is going to help them to go further. Again, their draft, I mean, Ahmad Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, Breece Hall, those 4 picks right there are star-studded picks. Top running back, great defensive end from Florida State, top receiver out of Ohio State, and the best DB out of Cincinnati.
Yeah, so in many people's eyes, the positions that they picked at, in a lot of boards, those were the top players at each of those positions, right? Top DB, top wide receiver, top defensive end, and top running back off the board. So they, and again, a lot of boards, those were the top players at those positions, so everybody was kind of taken aback, right? Because usually it's the Jets who pick the guy that's not the best guy, and then, I think there was a funny stat. I want to say that it was on Greeny, that they picked the receiver ahead of the all-time leading receiver. They picked the running back ahead of the all-time leading running back. They picked a quarterback ahead of the all-time leading passer at the time. So they picked the guy in front of Jerry Rice. They picked a guy in front of Emmitt Smith, and they picked a guy in front of Dan Marino. So the Jets kind of jetsed the rest of the league this time around.
I mean, at the end of the day, it will be seen. These picks usually come 2-3 years in fruition. They could have the nicest people running this. I believe they have good hearts. But once you put it on that green, I'm telling you, man, something bad happens to these people. And they made all the right. See, this is the good thing. They made all the right decisions. But they're the New York Jets. You should be more thrilled about the other New York team. they had, even if it was only 2 picks, I think 2 amazing picks.
Listen,
Why
I think
don't you get on your horse and kick?
because I like to separate myself until I see what the situation ends up being.
Be a homer. It's okay.
I can be a homer.
This is going to be the best time of your year, so enjoy it.
Grizz, why are you trying to start stuff with me right now?
I don't know. You've had one of those days. I might as well.
Why? Oh, so now you're just going to pile on. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
That's the right time to do it, sir. Sir, I'm sorry.
There you go.
Kill a mosquito with an axe.
Yeah, okay. So, all right, you want to... Thanks, Coach. Thanks, appreciate it. All right, so you want to talk about the Giants? We'll talk about the Giants, right?
Yeah.
Pick number 5, Kayvon Thibodeau, right? By many regards, the best freak athlete in the
Could
draft.
have been the number 1 pick.
But there are a lot of concerns about, like, is he all about football? You know, he's flash. He's all hype. He has the potential to develop, if they do it right, into a premier pass rusher. He does. But is he going to put the work in? Guy's a specimen. Is he going to put the work in?
Well, I think that he's in the right spot for him because, again, he is a philanthropist, if I could say that, even though he's not making the millions yet as an athlete. He's very involved in certain well-to-do or well-concerned movements.
Right.
With that being said, now he's in New York. What better place to be able to move forward with some of these entrepreneurial opportunities that he has and situations that he has, and he can go ahead and move the public eye onto what he's doing to help out the needy, to help out the needy, to help out.
He's also playing a position that for your New York Giants for the last couple decades is a staple and could make a name for himself and could be maybe the most freakish athlete that's ever played that position, right?
I mean,
I'm talking about a bunch of amazing
Matthias Kiwanuka,
players in that spot, and I think you got a guy that could be there.
Well, Lawrence Taylor was a rush end, a rush linebacker. Actually.
But he listen.
He put his hand down and got dirty with the quarterback.
It was a 3-4, and he was a defensive end / outside backer.
A few of those guys have had their issues. I think this whole is he in it for the. I think all that's what you got that kind of talent at number 5. You take it, you run with it. Now,
they picked the best player available, which was a need, and is also a need of his. So
we'll
see how it works.
And I was extremely happy with their Evan Neal pick. I was stumping.
Had they only had the pick at number 5 and not the other pick, they probably go with the Neal kid, right? Because they need that more.
I was stumping for Evan Neal even a few weeks prior, when we were doing our little draft analysis. Now, the thing with Evan Neal, the only thing that I have like a little gripe with there is he's a lot like the tackle that they drafted out of UM a couple years prior to that. He's a different specimen. He does a little bending at the waist. If you look at him, he bends at the waist a little bit.
Yeah, but he's a tremendous run blocker.
Tremendous run blocker.
His pass protection is good as well.
But like Flowers,
needs to get
he's a little
better.
bit of a waist bender.
Yeah, but I do think unlike Flowers, he comes from a more work centric and work ethic program with a coach that's much more demanding, and they coach those linemen better than
without a doubt.
And by the way, Flowers was one of our quarterback coaches' specimens over at Norland.
No, well, yes, that's a that's a Jay Stewart special there. But again, it was just when you looking at the film, I was like, oh, he's a little bit of a waist bender. That was the knock on Flowers coming out. But again, like you said, different atmosphere altogether. He was developed in a different program altogether.
When you're 6'8", 337, you're gonna bend a little bit at the waist, just a little,
just a tad.
It's
just smidgen.
He's a load.
Grizz, talk to me about your Dolphins, Grizz.
Well, we had our first. Oh wait, no first round pick. Our second round pick was. Hold on. Nope. Not there yet. Third round. Oh man, third round. We came out strong. Wait. Oh, the extra picks that you get in the third round. Oh, 102. Channing Tindall, linebacker from Georgia. Fantastic pick. Why? Because he's from Georgia and he's fast. That's all I got for you, bro. Because honestly, that's it. We got a couple other picks, but I don't know. I don't need to know.
But
I need a coach to tell me. Talk to me about this.
First of all, I give them credit on trading and picking up.
Tyreek Hill is part of our draft, so
some players
I'm totally in with that.
That I think are going to put the onus on the quarterback.
Yes.
The quarterback now has to step up.
I say this
play ball.
Say this gleefully. I thought the draft for us was fine because we had already done what we needed to do weeks ago, months ago.
I also think that he picked up a backup quarterback to run the ball, which is a Skylar Thompson kid out of Kansas State. That kid runs the ball. He runs the ball. No, he does. He's an animal.
You can put him in for some plays. Listen, the couple picks that we got are fine.
I don't think you could ever go wrong with a Georgia pick or an Alabama linebacker. I mean, those
that
two
guy
schools.
I think he had a couple sacks in the national championship game. The kid is a great. He's going to be great for special teams. He's going to be, you put him in those, second and third downs. He's going to be fine. Like I said, Georgia broke the record for the most picks by a school this year. Those are Georgia, Alabama. These are teams that coach by. These are the minor leagues. These are our minor leagues to get players. If you get guys from these schools, you're usually going to do well.
Can I talk about the number 1 overall pick by the Jaguars? Like Trayvon Walker at number 1 overall. I mean, the dude's a stud. Yes, granted. But was he the number 1 overall guy? Over Hutchinson?
Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I think that he is a more complete defender than Hutchinson. I think Hutchinson is an edge player as far as rushing the quarterback, things like that. I think Trayvon Walker
plays the run better.
Is going to play the run and also give you a little something on the pass. I think he's a more complete player. Again, 6'5", 272. You can put him down at the 3 technique or down at inside defensive line during pass rush situation and bring in faster guys on the edges. Then he can play the edge on first down. So to me, again, I really believe that this is another team that I think did great with their picks. They ended up picking up a Devin Lloyd out of Utah, which I thought was a great pick at 27.
No, listen,
that kid's a stud.
Devin Lloyd's a stud.
Kid's a stud.
I'm flabbergasted at the fact that Nakobe Dean went after his defensive backfield mate. Coach. I mean, you can't just.
And I'm not gonna lie to you.
Watching film on that guy, he is the epitome of sideline to sideline. He's a field general on the defensive side.
Again, some people, he was hurt. There's a couple things on him that turned people off. So you ended up getting Devin Lloyd there. They picked up another kid in the 3rd round named Chad Muma from Wyoming. Really good inside linebacker. Okay, plays in the Mountain West. Wyoming was one of the better defenses in the Mountain West all season. So again, for me, the Jacksonville Jaguars again took steps in the right direction.
I think you're going to see a monumental step forward for them. And by monumental, I mean probably like 9-7.
That's huge.
That's big.
Because I do think they get Etienne.
9-8. Don't forget the extra.
Oh, that's right, 9-8. Because I do see Etienne giving them a different dynamic in the backfield.
This guy stay healthy, man.
Got to stay healthy. But the guy's another level of explosive, right? And that's what they were missing. Now, to his credit, the guy thinks he's a little bit of a jokester, saying like, "Hey, I'm good, man. I missed all of the craziness that happened this past season." But they were really counting on that guy, especially with the comfort that Lawrence had with him in college. So would they get him back?
If both running backs are healthy,
right?
They have a tremendous backfield tandem. They loaded up well on the defense. Offensively, they have some good pieces. But again, we'll see what happens outside with the receivers and the development of Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
that for me is
I think they won the offseason before the offseason when they fired Urban Meyer, and this is going to be a better year. I don't know, 9-8. I could say, maybe like 6 wins probably, but they're definitely going up. And the good thing is the reason why they might have a 9-8. The division's not that good.
No,
Indy.
They got to be able to stop the run.
Is going to be again in the same level. The Titans, I think, are going to take a step back for sure because they lost A.J. Brown. I don't know where their head's at, but I think they have a chance to, I guess, maybe win 7. But other than that, let me real quick. The Ravens, to me, won the draft. As I was saying off here. I was just looking up on, I think an analyst here had said they got 8 of his top 100 picks. Like people he had scouted.
Right.
8 out of 100. I mean, that's, if they pan out, that's awesome. And they, every year, if it was Ozzie Newsome, they have that kind of like steady franchise, like a Steelers, like a Patriots.
But Grizz, talk to me here about like, I mean,
the only thing is they need to get a better quarterback. I don't know about that.
I don't know about the quarterback. Did they get the receiver that they needed?
I mean, they got rid of. Listen, they were getting rid of.
They were going to get rid of him regardless.
Okay. I mean, like I said, bro.
The problem.
These receivers.
The problem with the Ravens.
I love the Kyle Hamilton pick, by the way.
Yeah.
That guy's a stud. Great. He's gonna end up being like a
Troy,
a honey badger, or a Troy Polamalu. He's down in the box guy. He's my type of safety.
Honey badger signed today with the Saints, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And he's 6'4", 220, so he's not.
He's not a honey badger. He's a sandbacker.
He's a little bit bigger.
He's a sandbacker.
Right. Now, with that being said, I don't think that offensively, the passing game is a difficult animal for them. Mm-hmm. It's a very difficult animal because, again, as elite as their quarterback is, elite, as elite as he is, I don't think that the downfield passing game or the controlled passing game of him throwing it to tight spots outside to the receivers and things of that nature are there. Okay, that's what it makes it difficult. That's why their tight ends are such a big part of their offensive scheme.
Yeah, they drafted 2 more.
Because it comes off
of my mouth.
It comes off of their counter game, their counter trap game, their rollout game, their option game. So their tight ends become the bigger weapons than their outside receivers do. So again, we have to see where they go as far as outside receivers are.
Well, that's my thing, Coach. Like, give him a receiver though, just like how they did with Jalen Hurts, just like they're doing with Tua. Look, here are all your weapons. Now it's on you. But now we're going to put it even more on his shoulders now because he's never really had a legitimate number one. Now they take away a guy he was comfortable with. They add 2 more tight ends. What the F are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's his receiving core look like? None of us here can name any of the receivers that are on that roster right now.
Rashad Bateman.
Yeah, they had that.
That's a first rounder. What? He from Baylor 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Devin Duvernay and James Proche, the second.
See? Exactly. He just, that's...
But again, they don't...
That's 2 coaches, 1 Grizz stats and info right there.
But they don't use receivers. Again, their main pass guys, Mark Andrews, Nick Boyle, they are their tight ends. They go to their tight ends.
Haven't you seen T.O. playing in those fan leagues, man? He's looking good.
Yeah, Grizz, but no.
I'm just saying, man, we throwing options out there. He's probably better than anybody you just named.
They need to hit free agency because obviously draft is over and done with. Yeah. But what are the options that they have there?
Or trade.
Coach, they feel they
have pieces they could trade maybe down the line.
They feel that their offense is going to grind it out.
Yeah.
And they're going to beat you 17-7.
They have a certain way of playing football. That's how they play.
They play in the North. They play in the North. Again,
the Kings of
Pittsburgh now is breaking in a new quarterback.
Move on. I'm telling you, they're going to move on from Lamar Jackson.
Cleveland is still going to wait to see what happens with Deshaun.
By the way, speaking of Deshaun, throwing this out there, I'm going to throw in a little baseball talk.
Did you see what happened? Did you see what happened?
Yeah. If a guy can get 2 years, what's the type of pressure that's going to come down on the NFL to kind of make an example? He might be gone the whole year, man.
And that money is guaranteed.
So he might be gone the whole year.
I guarantee that's guaranteed money, Poppy. So that there it shows you the epitome of the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I mean, doing Cleveland Brown things, man. So, but back to Baltimore.
They're gonna beat you. They're gonna go back to the Trent Dilfer days. That's their philosophy. A game manager.
We're gonna end the segment right
for
here
75 yards.
He just equivocated. What?
He's gonna manage the game. If you make a mistake, he's going to break one for 70. They're going to win 24
He's a more
to
mobile
10,
Trent Dilfer. That's better.
24 to 10. They're going to hang on their defense.
I mean, the amount of blasphemy that's being spewed here in this show right now, like I can't believe that this is happening right now.
Oh,
the guy
oh,
was-
may I add? I hope he stays as healthy as Trent did, because Trent lasted the whole season.
Can he
stay
went
healthy?
Iron Man
The
status.
guy went
Can he
back
stay
to
healthy?
back. He went back to back Rookie of the Year and NFL MVP. Guy accounts for like 85%
And
of
that,
the offense.
What
and
do we get out of
that,
that?
and about $5 can buy you maybe a small something at Starbucks.
This is.
Maybe.
We're gonna be right back.
Maybe,
We're gonna
something
be
like that.
We're gonna be right back with some
I don't
NBA
know.
talk because
I
I
don't-
can't
I don't
do
buy
this right now.
venti and-
Okay,
and
AC, take
latte,
us out. Take
whatever,
us
I
out.
don't
Take
know.
us out. We can't do
I have
this.
no idea.
All right, we're gonna try to move on amicably from the absolute blasphemy that just went on in the first segment here. Don't start.
We're just
We're
spitting facts,
moving
sir.
on. We're moving on amicably
Just spitting
to NBA
facts.
playoffs.
Spitting facts.
Okay. Yesterday was a phenomenal day of basketball. Okay, that Grizzlies Golden State game was off the chain. It came down to literally the last possession. And John Morant is the truth. I mean, that guy is just such a beast.
Face
Man,
of the NBA.
Woo. Coming
I think
in
I've
super.
said this before.
You've alluded to
He
it.
will be the face of the NBA
You are,
within the next 2
you
or
are
3 years.
definitively saying he's the face of the NBA.
He will
now.
be the face of the NBA.
Coach,
for sure.
Coach, what do you got here,
Listen,
Coach?
brother, I still think there's a little guy running around making shots last night, and his buddy who made the winning shot last night.
Absolutely.
I think that is the team to be concerned with. I think that's the team that's going to be there at the end.
Oh, they win.
I
for
think
sure.
that Golden State is the one that is the team on a mission.
They are.
And as one of our buddies alluded to earlier, Draymond Green yesterday sent a message and said, "Hey boys, here I am. I'm gonna play hard. I'm gonna play tough. I'm gonna hit you. And if I get kicked out, that's fine. It is what it is. But we're gonna play rough and tumble basketball."
Is the best player to have on your team. I love Draymond.
Yeah, you hate him when he's on the other team, but you love
I
him when he's on
absolutely
your team.
love Draymond Green. He is UD, but obviously that can play consistent minutes of basketball. One of the best passers for his size. Coming out of Michigan State, I always loved this kid. I just didn't know, is he going to translate and become, because he does everything great. Not great, good. His defense is amazing now, but I'm saying coming out of college, he wasn't going to put up the big numbers. He's going to be a lockdown D guy. He's everything Marcus Smart is trying to be, is what I'm saying. This guy's phenomenal.
Well, I mean, he's I guess the epitome or for the point center like position. Like he's a distributor. He's the spark plug to that engine.
Moment that man got a flagrant 2 and out, which wasn't a flagrant 2 in my thing, maybe a flagrant. The moment he was kicked out, I went online and I put a second half bet on these Warriors to cover. Why? Because that's exactly the type of, like Gil said, you need that kind of gruffy, gritty guy that's going to show. Because Memphis was down 3 times to Minnesota in the first round by double digits, by 26, and one game twice. That's not happening here. You get down by 20.
Oh,
to the
these guys
Warriors,
are burying you.
peace.
It's over. It's
Yeah.
over.
Or they'll do it to you.
But they
is
didn't.
what I'm saying.
But the problem is that they didn't bury him. And
No.
even though it was a 1-point loss,
No.
I think
Well,
it gave the Grizzlies
but again,
the confidence.
But again, we just mentioned a guy that is a major cog in what Golden State does. There's times that he plays point guard. Draymond Green at times plays
all
point
5
guard.
positions.
Yeah.
Okay, so for him getting kicked out as early as he did, and for them to battle back and win, again, they are getting contributions from numerous people.
But coach, I mean, let's not get into it's not like they have slouches that are sitting there either. You know what I'm saying?
No, they have obviously the best backcourt shooting tandem ever.
Who's the guy coming off the bench? Like Iguodala? Like, yeah, another facilitator who can play on the wing, who can play.
I love Iggy, but he's a little bit already. He's there now, name only.
But if you
got Payton coming off the bench, that's fire.
If you need him in a situation like this,
Pool's the guy right now. That's been
Pool's
balling.
looking great.
Okay.
Like I said, Andrew Wiggins is your 5th best player on your team. You're doing good.
You're doing
gonna
very
be
good.
fine. And I think they're my pick to go to the NBA Finals and take the home route of me, win it all.
And that's
I would
why
say.
I say that Steph is still the face of the NBA.
No, but I'm not
Jay
saying-
may be in the future. You could be right.
He will be when Steph is going down, LeBron's exiting right now. Steph has been sore to the face for the last few years, along with the Kevin Durant's and all. But I'm telling you right now, Morant, that gentleman right there, in 5 years is your LeBron. He will win multiple titles.
He's got all the tools, man.
Everybody will play with him.
I mean, he legit fell on his back from like 9 feet up in the air. And yeah, I mean, he was hurting a little bit,
Obviously,
but he came back.
I don't want the Derrick Rose thing to happen to him, where he's playing that amazing, and then an injury can happen because that could derail anybody.
Correct.
But if he keeps going, there's nowhere but up. Besides posters that he gives you, besides just jaw-dropping plays, he has poise, and he has something else that all the great players have: a learning moment. Yesterday, he lost the game. He took the shot. He didn't make it. That's fine. We learn. This series will show what the Warriors are about, because they started their magical run 7 years ago, they said, playing Memphis in the second round, and I think that will happen this year. They will have a run. But within that, Memphis will learn too, looking at this team, learning what it takes to get to the next level. And they're still good enough that, yes, they could beat this team. They are good enough. It's just that I think at the end of the day,
I think Memphis will hone in on what they need to do.
I was
to get
just
better.
gonna say, I think this is a 6-game series.
And then as they progress, Memphis will learn what it takes to take those steps. I agree.
This is like when OKC was getting to that next level.
Right.
Just hopefully their guys that they have stick to it, because they have great talent. They're just gonna need to bring in a major superstar to take them to that next level, I think.
Agreed there. So let's move on to the series that we're currently watching live here on the background. We've got the Heat and the 76ers. Heat are up by 10 at the moment. The other big guy.
Embiid.
Heat, orbital fracture, huge loss for them.
Which was a big deal that, would you blame Doc for keeping them in up 30? With 3 minutes to go. Obviously, it could happen at any moment, up 3, down 30, whatever. But, some people will say, why'd you have him in there?
I mean, yeah, listen, I agree.
If they cut it to 15, I'll put him back in. But at 30, I'm taking him out for a couple
He should have been
minutes.
out, but once again, it was something that what happened is a complete, just weird, you can never call when it's going to happen. So I don't really blame him, but it's just not good for the look.
Perception-wise, it's not a good look. Like you said, up by 30 series, and
I mean, you're a championship. You're a championship coach. Like,
yes,
honestly, you are a
but the
championship
problem
coach.
is that
Not to mention, he's playing with his thumb. He needs surgery at the end of the year.
Correct.
You keep these guys healthy. You keep them on the bench. I mean,
right.
Once again, freak accident.
What's bad for Doc is the fact that he's the only coach in NBA history who has lost 3 series after being up 3-1.
I get it. They were up 3-0. They lost 2 games.
He's like,
we're not losing this game. We're up 30 with 3 minutes. You never know. Tampoco si. Change it up a little bit, buddy.
Correct.
30 points.
Again, if they go on a 15-0 run,
they get a 15-point shot out of it.
If they go on a 15-minute run, I tap you. I go, hey, let's go. I need you back in there. Okay, we tend the tide and we win by 8.
I'm
10 possessions with no points scored and all threes within 3 minutes.
And listen, make no bones about it. I'm sitting here doing a podcast with one of my freaking mentors here, and he's the first one to say you can't coach scared.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
He's the first one. He's the first one to say it. And he's the first one yelling in my ear, you can't coach scared. But that guy's pretty scurry right now, bro. He's down 3-1. He's the only championship coach
I get it. I get it. But again, you gotta stick to your guns and understand. I'm up by 30. If I lose this guy now, all I got left is Harden. Harden doesn't play any defense. Harden hasn't been the same player in the last 4 seasons. So, bang, Joel, have a seat. I'll let you know if I need you.
Go get a Gatorade.
Tú sabes, tranquilo, relax. Okay, don't put on your jacket yet. We don't know, but
No, stay warm. Stay warm, though.
Exactly, stay warm. Get on the bike a little bit.
This could also be in a small little noise that was being talked about by Stephen A. Smith the other day, that Harden wants D'Antoni to be his coach. And you know that the GM the GM is the ex-coach.
Daryl
Is the
Morey.
ex-GM. And that there's a whole uprising that they want to get rid of Doc. So Harden's not playing his stellarness so that he could get the Antonian. This is what I'm
Was he
Why
trying to
did
get?
they
Was he
want-
trying to get the Antonio in Brooklyn? Because he wasn't playing that well either. I mean,
I'm just saying this is what I'm hearing because apparently the best offense we've ever seen from Harden was during those years, though.
Yeah, but then the guy's allergic to defense.
Yes.
Literally allergic.
yes,
to
he breaks out in
I'm
hives.
just saying
Yes, yes,
that's what ultimately shows me that James Harden really doesn't care.
correct,
Winning a championship is
correct.
not about him.
It's about him.
Because if he would want that scenario to happen, that's all about. I just want to be MVP and score points, and I care because you're never
You're never gonna win. You're never gonna win a championship with that guy's a coach.
I mean, you're more likely gonna win a championship with an elite quarterback like Lamar Jackson than a coach like D'Antoni.
I agree. I agree.
Listen,
Well, heck, if you won one with Trent Dilfer, most definitely.
wow,
Doc has a chance,
Okay,
and Lamar
again,
has a chance.
I'm gonna disregard
So,
this.
yes.
Bucks Celtics. I thought it was a little surprising. I thought the Celtics would be this would be a little bit of a closer game yesterday, but
They don't match up well against the Bucks, and I think this was a get back in check. You played Brooklyn, which wasn't that good, so you're not that good, and Milwaukee's now showing you we're the champs. So I thought Milwaukee was gonna
they do
win
have
that game.
and they do have the best player in the NBA.
the best player in the world right now.
Okay,
That
because
guy
he's character.
To me,
It's
the
not about
Rock-
him.
Yeah.
It's about the team. He does
we're
whatever it
watching-
takes to win.
We're watching what LeBron became that second and third year of when he was with the Heat,
Right.
like that ascension. That's what we're seeing from Antetokounmpo, and like we're seeing it before our eyes. Like I'm watching him yesterday, and I'm like, this guy is
He's disgusting.
Just cannot be stopped.
He's
The
disgusting.
biggest robbery yesterday.
I mean, they pick him up at the top of the key. Like, no, sorry, like.
biggest robbery yesterday was that his dunk off the backboard that he threw to himself was only number 3 on SportsCenter's top.
Oh,
10.
that was that
I mean,
was.
how is that not your number?
I mean,
one
that
player
was
of the day?
disgusting.
That's so sick. So sick. I mean,
And that's not having Middleton, which Middleton helps him spread out the
know,
floor
I know.
and
That's
get
what's
spacing.
scary about it.
No,
That's the
Middleton was
crazy.
there. Was-
No,
No,
yeah,
he's
Middleton
out.
was there, but he was on the sideline. No,
He's
he's
out.
not playing.
He
He's
ain't
out.
playing.
He has a knee sprain. He's not playing.
you know who's
But
you know
he
who's
played
been
that
playing
game?
big for
He's
them?
not playing.
You know who's been playing big for him?
Could have sworn I saw him on there.
A hated Duke player named
Oh,
Grayson
Allen. Grayson
Hated
Allen has
that
come
guy,
off the
and
bench.
now out of nowhere,
He's come off the
coming
bench
out
and
and playing
playing
his best ball
ball.
And he drops daggers.
Yes,
and that guy's
yes,
annoying to me, and
yes.
that's what scares me now about them because if they do get Middleton, that guy now has ascended himself to being a guy you'll plug in more, and I can't stand. He is a gnat. I mean, he's the reason people don't like Duke. Like that would be my
Yeah, he was nasty.
logo
He's a nasty guy.
for Dukes.
I mean,
Yes.
but okay, so we're gonna go off on a tangent here, but you always have that one white dude that everybody hates.
It doesn't have to be a white guy. It just happened to be a white guy. It doesn't have to be a white guy.
I mean, JJ Redick was one of them. Like
no, but he wasn't.
that
He
guy.
wasn't as hated.
Oh,
He was only
they
hated
hate-
by Maryland fans.
Yeah.
He was the
No.
Grayson
I've
Allen.
never
No,
hated
no.
JJ Redick.
No.
I've actually
No,
loved
listen,
JJ Redick.
you know why-
guys
do you
have
know
not
why-
hated him.
Do you know why Grayson Allen was hated? Because he was dirty.
Yeah,
he would
always
take
make
people's
those dirty
legs
shots.
out.
Yeah.
He would hit people in the and then look like who me?
I
I
understand what
would
you're
never
saying,
do that.
But I'm saying that you can look up a list right now, and Duke always has the one token hated white guy on their teams, on their prominent teams. Like
Whatever.
it's just
You're just a racist.
The Christian Leitners.
Sir. What?
You're just a racist.
Yeah.
I'm not racist.
You're just a racist.
Bobby Hurley.
Pot me kettle me pot.
What about Chris Dudley's? Was it Dudley? I don't even know which one was that one.
Dudley?
Was it Dudley?
Was it? I think it was Dudley.
Wasn't the coach's son? What's that guy?
The other guy that everybody
I don't know, he's a
loved to
white
hate.
guy, apparently. You know.
The other guy that everybody loved to hate was Leitner.
No, I know
Christian
that.
Leitner.
I'm talking about early 2000s, Duke. There was Dunleavy.
Dunleavy.
That's what it was.
Dunleavy.
Dunleavy.
Yeah, that was right before
Dunleavy.
Reddick. Dunleavy passed the torch to JJ Redick.
I mean, I don't know why we went down the line of just ranking the most hated white guys from Duke, but I'm just saying the logo.
'Cause Morales is a
the
racist.
logo is Grayson Allen.
Keep talking. Keep
However
talking
the
that
color.
jazz.
You know, but that guy, if he plays well for them, that we don't match up well.
Yeah,
they don't match up well.
That's one of those you can't
that's
factor
crazy.
in. Like that's one of those you can't factor that in. That guy, if that guy starts popping off, like
no, and like I said, he shoots daggers. He can shoot threes.
Daggers.
If he gets hot, he can
they
shoot
always
threes.
come at the most
and he's a problem.
time for
he's
the
a
other
problem.
Team. Well, listen, I think that this was a very fruitful conversation. Yeah, I powered through once again the blasphemy that they keep on trying to spew at me, but again, as always, I rise above.
The martyr.
I am the martyr.
The martyr.
Rise above.
Don't worry, when I push you down the stairs, you'll be a martyr.
Eventually this pod will go visual, and I'll be sure to bring you the world's smallest violin so you can have on your desk to make sure,
That's fine.
Along with your broom mic.
I will.
Yeah. the martyr. The martyr again.
I'm getting it back. I'm getting it back.
The martyr.
I rise above. We'll be right back with some MMA action. And we're back to close this show out. Okay. On a high note, UFC 274 this weekend. Oliveira against Gaethje. This is going to be a slobber knocker, right? That Coach likes to use. Coach, talk to me because I know that you are excited for this one this weekend.
This one's hard to call. This one's hard to call. If it goes to the ground, I think Oliveira has the upper hand. If they stay on their feet, I think Justin Gage has a great chance to win. The problem is there is a 4-inch reach advantage for Charles Oliveira, and he is the champion. Justin is just as such. It's hard sometimes because some of these great fighters come up in a time when there's guys that are great fighters.
Right.
You're
just born the wrong year.
They can't overcome them because they're just so good. And Oliveira is one of these guys. He's able to take a hit, able to get to wrestle. He's able to do certain things.
Well, the thing with Oliveira too is that he's gone through his own kind of trials and tribulations because he's ran into buzzsaws several times over his career, and only now is when he's kind of rising above. Like, correct. Poirier was a legitimate contender / interim champion that he had to go against. That was a legit fight, and he handled that fight the entire
No, it's a massive division. Like, the division in and of itself,
from top to bottom,
is a great division.
It is dense. And I like to use the word dense for that division.
Again, and you look at his record, he's 32-8. He's won 9 by knockout, lost 4 by knockout. He's lost 3 by submission, and won 20 by submission. So again, he is a complete champion. But you got to give, Justin Gage a chance. He does have a chance to win the fight.
Listen, one solid swing out of him and it's a wrap because he does bring some fire behind.
And he's listen again in his last 7 or 8 fights, he's only lost to Khabib.
Right.
And before that was 5 fights ago. He lost to Dustin Poirier and Eddie Alvarez on knockouts. He's lost 3 fights. 3 fights. So again, I think Charles beats him. I do lean Charles' way, but it is going to be a great fight, and I suggest that you take a look at it. Don't get your eyes off the TV at any moment of the screen because it's going to be action packed.
Oh no, this is going to be fun.
The co-main event is Rose Namajunas,
Doug Rose
against Carla Esparza. Again, another good fight. I think Rose should dominate. If she has her mind right and comes with the right mentality, she dominates. I really do. I do think she's turned the corner with that. I think she proved that in her last fight, and I think that she is in a position where she's in a good place. I really believe that. I think she's accepted the fact of being the champion and defending the belt. I really do think that she is.
Yeah, it was funny. Like, she would get in her own head earlier in her career, and it was like, what are you doing? You have all the tools. Like,
she did. She used to get into her own head, and she used to question herself. But I think she's gotten over that, and I think that's something that's working in her favor.
Coach, one that I saw here, and sorry to cut you off, Cowboy Cicerone or Cerrone. Cowboy Cerrone is fighting here.
Donald Cerrone's going to fight.
He's got to retire, man.
Listen, obviously, I guess he needs to put food on the table. There's a way he's going to do it. He's fighting a guy who's 37 years old, Joe Lazone. Again, a journeyman. So if he can keep Joe off of his chin, Cerrone's got a shot. If he doesn't,
he's developed that glass
then
chin.
He's going to knock him out. I don't want to skip over the third match of the night on the main event,
yeah.
which is going to be a bloody, bloody affair. It's Michael Chandler against Tony Ferguson. Again, Michael Chandler is a 4-1 favorite. Tony Ferguson has reach and height advantage. We'll see how this works out. This is going to be another slobber knocker of an affair.
Tony Ferguson also has a screw loose.
No, he doesn't have one. He has like 4 or 5.
Several.
We can't stop at one. He does. Again, he should come in great shape for this fight. So we'll see how it goes. He's lost his last 3. And again, he hasn't lost to pushovers.
No,
he's lost to Justin Gage, Oliveira, and Dariush. So he's fought the cream of the crop.
Right.
So we'll see what happens here with Mike Chandler. Mike Chandler, remember, is a guy that came over from Bellator. So we'll see how that goes.
And this is the one that we spoke about before. Like, he's gonna want the big fight pretty soon.
He ended up having a fight and he lost. It's his first time out here in UFC. He lost and was not able to propel himself into that championship conversation. He lost to Charles Oliveira, knocked him out, and Justin Gage. So again, he beat Henderson in Bellator. Got here and he beat Dan Hooker here in UFC. Then he's lost 2 fights against the cream of the crop in the division. So now he's got to get his bearings and get going again to try to move up there. One of the fights in the main event that I highly recommend to watch is going to be the Randy Brown and Chaos Williams fight. This fight has everything you want. Knockout power. These guys are going to go at each other. They're long, they're lanky, and they're going to bring it. They're both knockout guys. They have some submissions. It's going to be a great fight. So please keep an eye on that fight, and don't take your eyes off of it. Another fight in that same prelim is going to be Brandon Royal against Matt Schnell. Brandon Royal is a 2.5 favorite to Matt Schnell. Matt Schnell is one of the guys that I like, that always brings good fights, good quality. So we'll see what happens here in this bout. This is a stellar card.
Oh no, this card is gonna be fun. Hopefully we'll be watching it during my graduation party. Everybody's welcome to come. So let's make that happen. That's gonna be some fun stuff. Yeah, man. This is gonna be a phenomenal card. I'm definitely looking forward to it, especially if Coach is sitting there in the corner worrying about his bets that he placed earlier in the week. So good stuff there. Grizz?
Yes, sir.
You good?
I'm great.
Phenomenal. Coach?
That was an awesome segment.
Thanks, Grizz. Thank you.
I'm sure it was fantastic.
Appreciate that. No, I mean, we're good. We're glad to be back. Let's not forget our sponsor, General Carnita Meats.
Good.
Always good.
So good.
So good. And again, thank you for listening, for tuning in, for supporting. Please let us know how we can do better. What can we do to get better? We're here for you guys, our listening audience.
100%. Keep giving us feedback. Hopefully, we're actually we'll start streaming on YouTube pretty soon here, so you guys will get to see us live and in the flesh. So should be fun, gentlemen. It's been a good one. 2 coaches, 1 Grizz. Out.